Okay, dear students, today we are going to discuss about the next chapter of science, that is energy. So first of all, to know about energy, let's see here one vehicle, and it works by using the source of energy like fuel, that may be petrol, or it may be diesel also. Both are fuel that helps to operate this vehicle. And you can see here one gas stove that we use to cook our food items, and it also cook our food items by using the source of energy, that is gas. So these among diesel, petrol, gas, these are the sources of energy. You can see here another picture here, bulb. It glows by using electricity. So this is also the source of energy that helps to operate this bulb. So these are energy sources. So here you can see all these appliances needs sources of energy to operate. Now sources of energy are of two types on the basis of its existence: non-renewable sources of energy and renewable sources of energy. Renewable sources of energy and non-renewable sources of energy. Renewable means it can be renewed, it can be reformed within short period of time. Its storage is never going to be completed, while non-renewable means it cannot be renewed within short period of time. It takes longer time for the formation, and its storage is also limited. So you can see here non-renewable source of energy. If its reformation cannot be done after use within short period of time, then that kind of source of energy is non-renewable source of energy. And after using the source, if it can be reformed again and again within short period of time, then that is said to be renewable sources of energy. Like this, we can be clear about renewable source and non-renewable source of energy. We can take examples also of renewable sources of energy and non-renewable sources of energy. Non-renewable sources of energy: fossil fuel like petrol, diesel, kerosene, all those which cannot be reconstructed within short period of time after use and whose storage is limited. There are non-renewable source of energy. And renewable source of energy, we can share electricity, that its storage is never going to be completed, that it can be operated by using hydropower, that is water. So this petrol, diesel are said to be fossil fuel because they are formed from the remnants of dead plants and animals. So petrol and diesels are fossil fuels. Its storage is limited, due to which they are kept under the source non-renewable. Its storage is limited, and after the use of these sources, it gets completed, and for reformation of such sources of energy, it cannot be reformed within short period of time. It needs longer period of time. And in case of non-renewable source of energy, we can share electricity, biogas, and so on. These are renewable sources of energy. It can be reconstructed, reformed within short period of time after its use. So these are about sources of energy, renewable source of energy and non-renewable sources of energy. So you are clear about this. You can see here sun is the ultimate source of energy. Either the source is renewable source or non-renewable source. For their formation, sun plays an important role, major role. So sun is considered as the ultimate source of energy. Let's see here as sun as the ultimate source of energy. Fossil fuel is a non-renewable source of energy, but for the formation of fossil fuel also sun is the major character for the formation of fossil fuel. And we can see this fossil fuels are obtained from the remnants parts of plants and animals, dead parts of plants and animals. Mostly these fossil fuels are formed by the deposition of these fossil fuels beneath the surface of the earth with high pressure and temperature for millions of years. So for the formation of fossil fuel also, those organisms before death survive in presence of sun, and simply you can see here plant, there is the presence of chlorophyll in the leaf of the plant that prepares food, and the process of formation of food from plant is said to be photosynthesis, in which sunlight, chlorophyll, water are the major agents that helps to perform the life process, photosynthesis. And the food prepared by the plant is eaten by herbivores, which is eaten by carnivores. So the food preparation process is only possible by sunlight that is released from the sun. So this energy is possible only in case of sun. Otherwise no food can be prepared from the plant, due to which no herbivore can survive, and similarly no carnivores and no any organisms would survive in the earth. So if all these plants, animals life was not possible, then there would not be any bodies for the formation of fossil fuel in absence of sunlight. And if there were no fossil fuels, that is the result if there was no sun. So because of sun, because of the energy radiated from the sun, the formation of fossil fuel is possible. So these natural gas, petrol, diesel, all these are fossil fuel that is formed only because of sun. So you can consider sun as the ultimate source of energy. In case of fossil fuel, sun plays important role. Now another is air. We know that moving air is called wind. You can see air as a conventional current developed by the movement of the air. We see air as the hot air and cold air. Cold air is heavier. Being heavier, it settles down, while hot air, being lighter, goes up like this. Now when hot air being lighter goes up, then the vacant space left by the hot air will be occupied by the cold air there. Cold air comes down being heavier in the space left by the hot air, due to which air blows, and blowing air is said to be wind. And because of this blowing action of air, it can perform the tasks, it can do the work. So that is only possible because of heat provided by the sun. And any appliances that operates by the action of air, moving air, wind, is the result of heat provided by the sun. Another we can see here hydroelectricity also. The source of energy hydroelectricity is also the result of the heat energy, light energy provided by the sun. How electricity is generated from water, we can see here. We have different land topography on the surface of the earth, yes, and the water is reserved here in certain height here. These are the sources of water. Now the heat coming from the sun reaches on the surface of the earth, both on land as well as in water. Now when the heat provided from the sun is absorbed by the water, it gets heated up, and in the form of vapor it reaches to the certain height in the sky, forming clouds, and this cloud will be moved from one place to another by the action of air, and while moving, the droplets of the cloud inside becomes heavier, and when it becomes heavier, it again falls in the form of rain to the surface of the earth, and wherever the water reaches on the surface of the earth from highland, it again gets reserved, it again gets accumulated in the same sources of water. So this process is said to be water cycle in common. You might have studied about water cycle in your lower class also. So the sources of water on the surface of the earth gets heated up by the action of the heat radiated from the sun, and it reaches up to the certain height, forming clouds, and the droplets in the cloud, when becomes heavier, again falls in the form of rain towards the surface of the earth. But if there was no sun, if no heat was radiated from the sun, no energy was absorbed from the sun, then this process would not be possible. So we are clear that for the generation of hydroelectricity, the major source is sun, that is solar energy radiated from the sun. Now you can see here another geothermal energy, the energy that we get from the earth, underground surface of the earth. That energy is said to be geothermal energy, and the surface temperature and the temperature beneath the surface of the earth is different. It is quite higher inside the surface of the earth. We can see here our earth, and in the center it is sun, and the earth is revolving around the sun in the solar system, and in the core of the earth, that is underground surface of the earth, there is heat energy. Now by the use of this heat energy that is absorbed inside the earth, we can operate, we can do different work. So this kind of source of energy is said to be geothermal energy. We can inject water inside the surface of the earth, due to which that water gets steamed in the form of vapor, and that can be used to operate different machine. So that kind of energy is said to be geothermal energy. The heat that is absorbed inside the earth can be used to perform different tasks. So that is also possible to heat our earth, the surface of the earth, either underground or on the surface. It gets heated due to solar energy. So this solar energy is the ultimate source of energy for different sources of energy. Now how energy is radiated from the sun? What is the main agent that radiate energy in the sun? Why sun provides us energy? What is the major role that radiates energy from the sun? We can see here sun surface temperature outside. The surface temperature of the sun is 5700 degrees Celsius, and similarly in the core it is enormous high than that of in the surface, that is about 1.5 into 10 to the power 7 degrees Celsius. Even the surface temperature 57 degrees Celsius also too more, and the core temperature is 1.5 into 10 to the power 7 degrees Celsius, and the mass of the sun is approximately 2 into 10 to the power 30 kg. It is estimated on the basis of the density here, which is almost 3 into 10 to the power 5 times more than that of our Earth. Now, how energy is radiated, how energy is released from the sun, we will go through that. Source of energy in the sun. The temperature we discussed, temperature is too more very much high inside the sun, and pressure is also very much high, and it is composed of 70% of hydrogen gas inside the sun and remaining 30% helium and other gas. So you can say that there is high pressure and high temperature inside the sun. Now, because of this high temperature, the free protons, this hydrogen atom protons get separated, and these free protons of hydrogen get ionized due to high pressure, high temperature. Yes, free protons of hydrogen gets accumulated, gets combined to form heavier atoms. So free protons of hydrogen gets separated because of high temperature, and again gets accumulated, gets combined because of high pressure. So this kind of reaction is said to be nuclear reaction, and as there is combination of free protons of hydrogen, we can say this as fusion reaction, and there is use of heat energy radiated from the sun, and due to this nuclear fusion reaction by the combination of free protons of hydrogen, heavier atom, that is helium, is formed. And during this process, during this nuclear fusion reaction, while forming helium atom from hydrogen atom, large amount of heat energy is released from the sun, and that energy is taken by every object in the universe, mostly in the solar system here. So the major source of energy inside the sun is thermonuclear fusion reaction that takes place inside the sun continuously. So you can say thermonuclear fusion reaction is the nuclear fusion reaction that takes place inside the sun, in which free protons of hydrogen gets combined to form heavier atoms like helium, in which large amount of heat energy is released. Now here are some tasks to be performed by you. Let's see this.